I promise you that every gym within a 5 mile radius of where you are located is going to make enough money to sustain them for the rest of the year over the next 3 months. Resolution time. So, have you ever made the decision to attempt to try something new, such as entertaining a new partnership or acting in a way that would advance your career or your purpose or providing you with better health and well being? You were capable of following through with it for a short time, but then somewhere down the line, probably like around 3 or 4 months later, you kind of veered off the path. And now you have to ask yourself, was this me intentionally self sabotaging or am I just procrastinating? You will probably be surprised to learn that procrastination and self sabotage can be coping strategies and can actually be beneficial to your life. They are helping you to fill a need, and we've all experienced this to some extent. Every action that we take benefits us in some way or another. Each person has a distinct motivation for procrastination and self sabotaging, but the most common one is a need to feel protected. One of the best things that we can learn to do is to work with our self sabotage and procrastination. Instead of fighting against them, especially don't attempt to completely rid yourself of them. And this is going to be key to a positive life growth. We feel a greater energy when we work with and integrate them so that they are less of a hindrance and more of a source of strength and knowledge. The symptoms of procrastination and self sabotage convey significant messages. Most frequently, they are a cry for help from our inner child. Sometimes our desires may not be what we think they are. Self destructive behavior and procrastination can be our inner voice telling us that there's another way to reach this goal, another way to walk down this path of achievement. When we've had several setbacks in our past, our subconscious sometimes puts a stop to our efforts, and then you fall into the negative self talk. Well, what's the use? I never win. I always lose. I'm a failure. Then we find ourselves in this negative headspace and then indulging in the bad habits. We never take the time to actually stop to figure out what is causing us to fall so greatly. And there is a cause. There's always a cause. Because why else would we overindulge in bad habits or other distractions or fail to follow through with our stated goals? Finding the causes and what that part of us needs is the key to healing and changing that energy pattern. When our unconscious wants aren't acknowledged or satisfied, we frequently engage in self destructive behavior and procrastination. It takes a lot of effort to try and change the outside and or push through with positive thoughts, and it frequently wears us out. Now, why is this? Because we are battling our own biology, which causes uncertainty, dread, and inner conflict, as well as self doubt and self judgment. In that same spirit, they all participate as one team, and that team is now your opponent. You are your opponent. The majority of our programming is developed before we reach the age of 7. And it's at this point in our lives where we develop our ideas defining the person who we are as adults, the things that we value, our moral codes, what we want and don't want, just how life functions in general. Our subconscious searches these memory files when we wish to do new or different things in order to determine if they are safe or not. Now, safety can refer to a variety of things, including familiarity, withholding our truth or our creativity, overeating, drugs, alcohol, anything that can be used to dull our emotions or stave off our suffering. Thing is, we possibly could procrastinate or self destruct when we have terrible memories of prior events that were analogous. What's a better word? comparable to what we want in our lives now. And this is because we have an internal survival mechanism. And after a traumatic or unpleasant experience, our protective portion will prevent it from happening again. The information that we learn, thanks to the rules of connection, is retained in our subconscious. If we accidentally burn our fingers on a stove as a child, our brains are going to then develop neurons that link pain to stoves, causing us to be more cautious when we're around them going forward. Physical and mental pain both affect our brains in the same way. The issue is that the brain may access our actual level of risk incorrectly because it's using an obsolete neurological pattern. We'll either sabotage the situation we want to have, or our brain will give us a variety of reasons of why it won't happen if it's caused us grief in the past, or if we don't think positively enough to just enjoy it. However, bear in mind that this might not be your advantage, but that's neither here nor there. If we haven't understood how to comfort ourselves, understand and articulate our emotions in a healthy way, if we have relied on substances in the past to console ourselves or find some sense of relief, we will unavoidably turn to those things when circumstances become difficult. Try to think about it like this. If when you were a child, an adult that you trusted constantly said things to you like, if you don't do it well, don't do it at all. You might think that the issue was that you were always wrong in this person's eyes. Or if they constantly told you that you were a selfish person, you weren't good enough or smart enough, and you would never amount to anything. Even when something wasn't your fault, you were always held responsible. And if you spoke back or expressed your feelings, you would either be punished or given the silent treatment. You tend to develop a fear of everything and everyone as a result of these experiences, even if you are unaware of how they've significantly influenced you. You end up being a very lost and perplexed grown up who has lost touch with who you really are. The fear and apprehension has become so strong that if you had a thought about just buying yourself something, asking for what you wanted or needed, expressing what it is that you were thinking or feeling, or doing anything self loving or self nurturing, you self sabotage or procrastinate and feel loads of anxiety. Although you may not be aware of it, your mind is telling you that wanting something is risky because you equate it with being reprimanded, left behind, or harmed. It is interpersonal conflict hidden within us. It is the foundation of our energy stagnation and the source from which we filter our direct lives. Most of the time, we just live in the energy of I can't, beware, or that's just not fair, without even realizing it. Or we judge ourselves harshly because we can't accomplish the things that we claim we want to do. None of our symptoms, nor we, if we are experiencing them, are undesirable or incorrect. Our inner guidance is pleading with us to pay attention to what's actually going on within and requesting compassion and love and healing and understanding, resolving, integrating, and revisiting. I can honestly say that I wish I had known years ago the things that I know now, which is that in order to help someone, we can't force them to stop engaging in unhealthy behaviors. Instead, we have to learn how to be compassionate and understanding while seeing how their self sabotage, procrastination, anxiety, addictions, and depression symptoms are actually benefiting them. What is the fundamental factor causing them? What needs addressing, embracing, and modification? What do we require now that we didn't receive from our caregivers when we were younger? How can we give these things to ourselves at this stage in our lives? We may heal and defeat self sabotage when we use our symptoms as stepping stones to a deeper awareness of ourselves, and when we integrate inwardly by meeting our true needs. Every aspect of us deserves to be heard, seen, and loved. It needs to be welcomed without any conditions being placed on them. Each component contains a significant lesson for us. So, please be considerate and kind with yourself if you're experiencing any of the symptoms that I've listed. Dig a little deeper and learn what you're actually afraid of and how your conduct may feel like safety rather than feeling sorry for yourself or sabotaging yourself. You'll be able to let go of what doesn't serve you and obtain what it is that you desire and need after you realize why you're harming and holding yourself back.